Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to day 3, the final day of DudaCon. 3 days of virtual sessions where agencies gather to learn how to build their strategy for growth in the age of AI, which is all so new and exciting. Today, we are leading off with automating acquisition. Scale your business, not your budget. I know this is a topic of conversation a lot of agencies want to listen to, and it will be followed by how to 10x your agency's efficiency without compromising quality. And then we will end it with top revenue growth opportunities for agencies right now. I know I'm excited. I know the team here is excited. And I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder that DudaCon is sponsored by Search Engine Journal and SimilarWeb, two fantastic sources for information in what we do. And if you have any questions throughout the entire presentation, please put them in the chat, and we're going to get to as many of them as we can during the panel discussion. We can also answer Duda-related questions in the chat. We have Duda moderators in the chat, so if you have questions about products specifically, feel free to do so. So let's get started with automating acquisition and scaling your business, not your budget. The first thing I want to do is I want to introduce our amazing speakers that we have with us today, and those speakers are Bryan, Liron, and Oded. So Bryan, welcome. Why don't you go ahead and introduce the audience of who you are and why you're here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Ruan. Hi, everyone. My name is Bryan Montoya. I'm currently an account executive here at Google. I've been at Google for about 6 years, and I've served many of our clients, all shapes and sizes, all the way from small business and startups to a lot of Fortune 500s, which is more aligned with my current role. This is a great conversation that we're about to enter. It's certainly top of mind for a lot of the clients that I have and have served. Here on behalf of Google. So I'm really excited to kind of hear everyone's questions and see where the conversation goes. I think it's certainly one that is not, locked in. It's exciting because it is still being built, and a lot of folks and companies are leaning more into this type of conversation. So really excited to hear also from the rest of my panelists.
Awesome. And then Liron, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Liron. I'm a product leader at Duda. I'm actually responsible on the core editor and for some of the solutions that we will present you today. Interesting to know what we'll think about it.
And you did a great job on the core editor. And now, Oded, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Ruan. So I'm Oded Ouaknine. I'm the Chief Customer Officer for Duda. Been here for the past 9 years, since if some of you remember the Duda mobile days. I'm based here in our Boulder, Colorado office, and really excited to share what we're up to today. Lots of the things you're going to see are based on real agencies' experience and real customers that kind of implemented some of those elements we talk about to increase customer acquisition and to integrate automation into that acquisition flow. So looking forward, and thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. And my name is Ruan Marinho. I run a marketing agency called DevelopMark, and we work specifically with small local service-based business, manufacturers, healthcare agencies to generate more leads and results through websites. So I'm super excited. One thing I want to do really quick before we actually get started with the slides, I'd love to hear where everybody's from. I see a lot of love coming in from Mexico, Alabama, and like you see on Oded's sign in the background, Duda is everywhere. And so I would love to see where you guys are from, just so we can get some relation. And now let's get it started. So let's talk about automating acquisition, scaling your business and not your budget.
All right. So I'll go ahead and start. Today, the topic that we want to bring is really different techniques and different ways to capture more customers. And I'm going to present that together with Liron, and then we can have a conversation around this. So for those of you who are not familiar with Duda, I'm not sure there's many of you of that, but Duda is a professional website builder for digital marketing agencies. Today, Duda has a little bit over 1 million paying websites on the platform, and over 20,000 agencies, SaaS companies, and others that are using the platform and trusting Duda. To date, more than 20 plus industry awards. G2 Crowd is down here. There's plenty more. So just a quick introduction of us, if in case you haven't heard about us yet. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the SMB clients. Those are the folks that we all sell to, you as agencies, those are your customers, and Duda is thinking a lot about those guys. And I'll start by kind of looking into the thought process today, bringing it from multiple surveys in the industry. There are questions that are being asked around, how do you feel about your agency given the economy? Is it going into a long-term recession and so on? So interesting data point is that most of the agencies that were on the survey, or most of the SMBs, I'm sorry, are thinking that they're feeling that they go into a long-term recession. But at the same time, when they're being asked, do you expect your business to survive this economy? The majority of them are saying yes. So there's some optimism among those SMBs despite the economic situation. Yet, when you think about the global recession, the post-COVID world, there's an increasing challenge to bring in, to acquire new customers. And even more difficult is, how do you retain your customers, stay competitive, while you keep your cost under control? Because it's very easy to expand if you spend a lot, but most of our agencies, they have to be in a controlled spend environment, obviously, but achieve more with that. One of the reasons for it is, you go and you survey SMBs and you ask them what they're looking for. They are demanding much more today than they were a few years ago. They want to see more content. They want to see more platform integration. They want to get more leads. They want to convert those leads, and they convert them faster. They're asking for more revenue of their existing base. So now there's a demand for additional products to sell. Compliance and personalization, maybe two things that are conflicting with each other, are very high on the list. I want to be compliant, but privacy regulation are preventing some personalization. So how to deal with that? Those are questions that we are being asked a lot. And the result is that we as agencies, we need to provide more today than we ever needed in order to keep those customers, in order to acquire those customers. So we look there at the digital marketing side. We talked about the SMBs. What's happening on the agency side? Right. So agencies, when we look at 2022, 89% of the agencies met or exceeded the revenue goal. Average revenue growth of 33%. This is CalRail survey from late 2022. When you look at 2023, 98% of them are confident about the outlook of their agency, with 82% expecting a growth of 43%. So even more aggressive growth than they've seen before. But when we ask them about the client acquisition and retention, 79% of them are telling us that acquisition is going to be more challenging in 2023, and 81% thinking that retention is going to be more challenging this year in 2023 than it was in 2022. And that trend continues. Retention became a big issue as well as acquisition. So where is the opportunity? Right? If I could capture more type of customers, if I could convert them faster and get more businesses by offering multiple website building experiences, maybe I could double down on the number of users that I convert. Maybe I could create a phenomenal lead generation engine that will capture those users, maybe at a low price point, and then upgrade them, take care of them, and make sure they're staying with me for the long term. In most cases, we know that agencies are restricted to serving one client type. So there are agencies who are building very high-end bespoke websites. They're missing the all, lower-end market. There are agencies who are focused on the opposite, and they're missing the higher end. There are technical users, there are less technical users that are coming and visiting my website, but I'm only capturing a small portion of those. So could I expand in a way that will help me bring more customers, more potential customers to the door, and then convert them to paying customers later on? So what if we could open your agency to a new window of opportunity? And to talk about this today, we have Liron here, who's one of the brains behind this solution that we're going to talk about. And Liron, with that, let's switch it to you.
Thank you. So this is exactly what Oded spoke about. This is exactly what we are trying to give you the opportunity to extend your current business model, and in that way to get more customers. The concept is simple. If you offer your customers more solutions, you can capture more customers with different needs. So let's say I'm an agency that offer what I believe most of you offer today, a do-it-for-me solution. Now, with this concept that I'm going to show you, I can diversify my offering and as a result to expand my customers base. Let's imagine that this is my plan page on my website. Now I can offer simple DIY solution with basically zero investment from your side as an agency. I could sell an advanced DIY, which offer a much more sophisticated experience for more advanced users who can build and customize more on their own. And I'm not forgetting the do it for me that you are offering today, and you can add as a third plan. So now I can offer the three of them. And as I said, to try and capture more customers with more needs. Now I can actually attract customers with different needs, as I said. So for customers who find building a website to be a complex experience, I can offer a simple 5-step solutions. This allows them to create customizable website presence and be online just in minutes. I can also reach traditional DIY customers who need more advanced capabilities. And lastly, of course, I never forget the do it for me for customers that need more, and you know them already, the ones that need special designs, the ones that need content collections and some other features. So in the past, I couldn't offer everything and I needed to make a compromise. And now with this solution, this is no longer the case. Not only have I captured now customers with all kinds of needs by providing each of them with the right solution, but I also created a seamless upgrade flow. Let's say, for example, and I will try to explain it, that I own a pet shop, and the simple DIY site initially seems like a good solution for me. I start building my website, everything looks great, and now I want to add e-commerce to enable people to buy my products online. I have a simple upgrade button in my solution that I can click on. And when I do, the site stays exactly the same. It's retained all my content and design. However, the editor that I'm using now allows me to do much more to add this e-com capability that I wanted. And the simple editor wasn't allowing me to do. And again, the content, the design, everything is the same. I'm not losing anything, but I have a more rich platform than the simple editor that I just started with. And when we talk about upgrading this flow, one option for you, for example, is to simply connect an upgrade button to a billing system. You can create an upgrade flow that works for you. So imagine that every time a pet shop or some other customers wants to add e-com or other capabilities, every time he will just click the button and you will charge them automatically without the need to do anything. Now, let's consider this scenario. How many of your customers struggle when it comes to setting DNS records or connect domains when they come to publish their sites? How many of your customers says that it's super easy to build a website, but later realize it's not the case? Because your offer is all on one platform, all the solution based on one platform, you essentially create a safety net for those customers. If you'll go to a traditional DIY platforms, the moment when they try to do something and they can't, this is the hard moment. This is the moment that they will give up sometimes. This solution, this platform that we are showing you, you can transform the moment from a hard one to I can help you one. This is the moment where you can offer the upgrade, the do it for them, to provide them other services that you are selling. This is exactly the moment. So the pet shop that I just gave you an example of is already your customers because he chose the first plan. He wanted something simple. He wanted to start with something basic. So he's your customer. And he and probably understand a lot about pets, but when it will come to connected DNS records, for example, there is not familiar with that. This is where you are coming into the picture, being there for them. This is where it becomes a great lead generation tool. He will connect to you. He will need your help. Most of those who initially wanted to start themselves will become in the end your customers. Remember, they started to build on the same platform that you can use later to help them to reach their site, to do it more fancy with more capabilities, with more features, fancy design. In this case, you don't need to start from scratch because you already have the content, you already have the designs, and you can easily take it from there. And I want to share some data that we see around this solution with, as Oded said, some agencies, some customers that already use this solution. So what we actually did is we took customers that used to offer the advanced editor and were interested to offer a simple DIY flow, something that is basic as we described. We introduced them to the simple editor, and as you can understand, they began to use it. You can see that the conversion rate has actually doubled from 36 to 63% from the moment they started to create the site till the moment that they clicked publish. We can also see Oded. We can also see that 62% actually upgraded and paid for the full solution. So they wanted more. They wanted a background picture with a video. They wanted to add e-com. They wanted a login page. So they needed membership. 62% actually upgraded and paid for it. We also learned that every customer wants his site to be perfect. It doesn't want to compromise on anything, but they also want to go live quickly. So they imagine a solution where they can achieve their goal very quickly. In this model that I just showed you, you can adapt a variety of needs. More of those who will get in touch with you in different ways will become your customers in the end. And you will have the freedom to choose the solution that you want to offer. So you can offer a lead generation tool, you can offer a real DIY flow with simple or advanced solution, whatever you will choose. But basically, what's certain is that you will have a tool that allows you to reach more potential customers to your agency.
All right, so let's continue and talk about a different model that work for some of our customers, some of the agencies that we're working with. As an example, we all spend money today on PPC campaign. All agencies, Duda included, by the way. We try to capture more customers to different mediums. Here in this example, I'm going to walk you through a story of a very strong capability that Duda is adding in order to optimize and make our PPC spend and ROI much more efficient. So I'll take the same example that Liron was mentioning earlier of this pet shop, right? And I'm an agency that's trying to capture more of those. So I'm creating a PPC campaign. In this example, it's running on Facebook. as Rice agency targeting veterinarians and pet shops, let's say in a local neighborhood or in my region. Now, they click on that PPC campaign, going into a landing page, so far very standard, right? Like this is how those campaigns usually work. They will have a form, they fill up their information, but this is where the magic start to happen. Once they filled up their business information, what Duda is doing in the back end, we are actually spinning up a website, and that website is personalized to that segment or to that vertical that we're going after. Not only that it's personalized and using a very relevant template, it is taking all the business information, all the data that we captured on the collection form, the PPC campaign form, and feed it into the website. So the website now has the relevant services that pet store is offering. It has the opening hours. It has the contact information. Everything magically shows up into the site, and then we send an email to that pet store. Again, everything happens in real time. So a second after they filled up this form, they get an email that is white labeled, obviously with Rice agency showing on the email, with a link. Click here to see your website. Now from here, the options are unlimited. One, they have a starting point. They can either take it as is, and you can give them a publish now button. They publish the site, they start paying you on the spot. Another thing is they continue the evolution of that initial website with you. So, hey, you sent me that great page. It looks great, but I want to change the colors. I want to change the images. It creates an immediate engagement point between the SMB to the agency, where in the old world, before that automation was in there, you would relying on salespeople, or you would call as the agency owner, hey, I saw that you filled up my contact form. Let's talk about the options around here. And obviously, you're not there on the weekend, you're not there at nights. This is a great conversion tool that gives people a starting point right away when they're really looking into a solution, a website solution, or anything else that your agency provides. And again, this is all automated through our APIs, through our white label features, and can happen in a second.
Oded, I must interrupt here, and I know this is talking about the future, so maybe you can tell me what else is coming?
I can.
Surprise me.
All right, I will try to do that. So, we all talk about AI a lot and what AI can do to our business and the impact that AI has, and there's a whole new session coming later on today. But it's a big topic, and it's a topic. Why is it so big, especially for the agency world? Because it's making a change, it's driving a change in how we work and how we think about things. So Duda is there as well, obviously, and I'm going to show you a few things that are directly related to what we've discussed. So I'll start by some of the things that we're working on, some of the things that will come in later in the year, but again, directly tied to what I mentioned. The first one is a personalized data collection form, right? When you are collecting data, that's the biggest obstacle typically agencies are reporting about. Like, I'm trying to get the information from my customer in order to progress and build their site. Sometimes it takes 3 months, sometimes it takes 6 months. It's just like really, really hurting the workflow and the efficiency of my agency. So what if I could generate AI together with Duda will generate a personalized data collection form. In this example, we have a beauty salon, and maybe it's hard to see, but bear with me. We have a beauty salon, and we know this is a beauty salon that we're sending the collection form to. So it will ask the relevant question to a beauty salon. What kind of services are you providing? Are you providing services for men or women? What is your opening hour? It's very, very different than if I was sending that collection form, let's say, to a plumber that provides mobile services in a certain area or certain region. We believe that this will really expedite and accelerate and give us precise data that then we can put into the website build, and will shorten the time it takes us to collect data from our SMBs and our customers. The second one let's go back a few slides and remember that simple editor experience where within a few clicks you have your website. What if we could take it to the next level and have AI generate the site as a personal experience with images based on the tone or based on the business type that you provided us? And then this would be your starting point. It will be a unique experience and not a templatized experience as it is today. That's something that we think will dramatically improve conversion and make the whole website building, the initial starting point, much easier and accelerate the time to production, and for the agencies, the time for revenue. Then once you have that, imagine an AI engine that will be able to make recommendations based on the website that you build. So again, this example, a beauty salon. We know this is a beauty salon. Our AI engine knows this is a beauty salon. And it can pop up a message saying, hey, most beauty salons have a booking widget integrated into the website. Would you like to add the booking engine to your website? And Duda can do it behind the scene, add that booking engine, and you're upcharging the customer now for additional functionality that they put into the site, or you provide additional value. Depends on your strategy and how you want to go about this with your customers. Moving on to a few of the new things that we're thinking of. Personalized AI generated templates, very specific to either experience, do it for me or do it yourself. When you make an offer or when you send a white label email, you'll be able to include, hey, choose one of those 3 templates. Those are personalized, that's just built for you right now based on the characteristics of your business, your region, and maybe some other feedback or input that we're collecting from you during that initial engagement. Then how can I retain and provide more value to the customer? We talked earlier about this being one of the major concerns that agencies have. I acquired this customer, I made all that investment. What if they leave me after 6-9 months? You have to continue and provide value, but providing value today costs a lot of money, costs a lot of resources, and it's a very competitive market. In this example, in that thumbnail or screenshot that you see here, Duda is actually creating 3 blog posts that are very relevant to this hair salon or the beauty salon. And it could be followed by a white label email. Again, everything could be automated if you choose so. Going to the customer, going to that hair salon and say, hey, I created those 3 different blog posts for you. Would you like to publish those? Would you like those to be part of your website? And I can do this now every month or 2 because I don't need now an army of copywriters to build those blogs for me. AI can do it for me, at least 80-90% of the job, and then I can do the rest. So another way, just one way to deliver more value and integrate that into automation and white labeling. Very cool. And the last thing I want to talk about is how can AI really help us to build high converting transactional websites with very minimal effort. E-commerce or transactional website are usually heavy lifting. It's not a cheap thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. And Duda is coming here with the combination of native e-commerce that we have in the platform, with AI helping us with some of the data we need around this. And this allows the agencies to offer that beauty salon, hey, you have 6 products that you want to sell online, or maybe you want to provide a subscription service. Here's an easy way to do that. Here's an upsell. Here's more value. And here's another way to create more stickiness and increase our customer retention. So all those things are things that we're working on in different stages. Some will come relatively soon. Some will be later in time. Liron, don't kill me. I'm not committing to any timeline over here.
Yeah, I started to get stressed. Yeah.
But it's a sneak peek. It's a sneak peek to what we're thinking about in Duda, and how we integrate AI through the different stages of the customer life cycle with the agency, and not necessarily just for content creation, but acquisition, retention, and growth of those customers within Duda and your agency, and services that you can provide to them. So I think that's kind of it. This is our part presenting today. And Juan, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for getting so in detail. And I think really what I love about what you guys presented is the key component of having a unique selling proposition as an agency is to productize your service. And what you just showed allows people with any vertical to allow them to productize their service and have a couple of options, especially as we enter a different economic route. So now I have a couple of questions that I want to ask, and these are more geared towards Bryan since we're talking about acquisition. Liron, you mentioned something really interesting where you would run an ad that would have an offer for someone to start building their own site without talking to the agency at all. And I think that is amazing for several reasons. Because one is a lot of people don't want to talk to you; they want to just play around with your tool. And so for Bryan, a couple of questions for you. Could you provide examples of successful agencies that have used automation to grow their client base?
Yeah, I think at Google, we try to build products for everyone. And so there's certainly a lot of agency-specific tactics and strategies that a lot of the folks here on DudaCon can leverage. One of those might be, highlighting your specific agency's value adds that might differentiate yourself from competitors or other agencies that you've noticed have a really strong online presence. When we talk about customer acquisition at Google, we do try to take it in a like client agnostic way, meaning solutions that are applicable to all clients. I think one key piece that I would really try to have the folks here online really focus on is how can you harness your first party data and use a lot of the data that you already have with your existing agency clients, and how can you leverage that to drive new customer acquisition. From a Google perspective, we have a product actually called New Customer Acquisition, which leverages a lot of automation and AI together to drive those results. But as I tell my own clients in my conversations with them, those efforts are only as good as the data that you have put together from a first party perspective and provided it to your marketing campaigns. The higher the quality of that data is, the better our AI models at Google can go and find those new customers across Google's ecosystem. So I would really encourage a lot of agencies to start, if they haven't already, looking at that first party data that they have. It could be as simple as your client's emails or your numbers and whichever, and try to find ways to harness it in a privacy safe way to all of your various marketing partners. At Google, we build our products with privacy first. So whenever clients and advertisers give us their first party data, it goes through a hashing algorithm, which makes sure that it's totally anonymized and impossible for a human to read, but still allows Google to leverage that data to find these new customers in the first place.
Yeah, so everyone, what Bryan's saying is organize your data, organize your lists, organize your contacts, and use that first-party data to feed it to Google so it can find the people that are most likely to buy from you, instead of going out there cold and spending a lot of money trying to get that first-party data, because you probably already have it. So, Bryan, follow-up question. What are some common mistakes now that people are getting to your site and you run an ad, right? And these agencies, they run an ad, somebody's gotten to their site. What are some common mistakes you've seen agencies do when it comes to their acquisition funnel?
Yeah, definitely. Mistakes is a strong word, so I don't want to make it appear that there's like an extremely right way and extremely wrong way. But I think one area that a lot of agencies and clients kind of miss the mark is, let's say they have an amazing marketing campaign that's doing its job. They have amazing ads. They're running it and serving those ads to the right people at the right time. They're leveraging AI and automation in all of the best ways that they can. And then the user or customer ends up on the website, and the experience of the website of the agency or of any client is completely the same as it would for a returning user. I think a lot of times we get lost on the fact that we don't put ourselves in the user or your prospective client's shoes. And in this specific example, I would encourage many agencies and any clients to really focus on, can I have a dedicated part of a website that is only focused on what I want a brand new customer to look at? I know the impulse is to try to get as many of the things about the agency and your value adds as much as possible, but really streamlining the experience of, this is what I want someone who doesn't know anything about my agency to really zero in on and focus on, and just dedicating a website to that. Because otherwise, you're just kind of hoping the same experience for returning users is going to be sufficient to convert a new customer to an agency, to a new client for you. But you've already done so much and actually spent budget on acquiring them and getting them to your domain, to then not have them have a tailored experience as a new user or as a potential customer is a big missed opportunity. So I would encourage, agencies to do, put yourself in a new client's shoes, and when they get to your doorstep virtually on your website, what do you really want them to know? And what do you really want them to do once they're there? Because you've already done so many things to get them to the door, and you need to really get them to go through the door and convert and become your new client.
Yeah, just a couple comments on that. It's interesting that you say that, because a lot of the times businesses will want to make an offer for new customers, but they won't want their existing customers to see that offer.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are a Duda user watching this video, personalization rules with new sections is very lucrative, because you can show sections to new visitors instead of existing visitors. And that can be a really good way to show an offer at the right time to the right person without confusing the existing customers. So I love how you said that. It definitely got my gears running and thinking about a couple of ways that I can optimize myself. And so, Oded, this is more of a question for you. You talked a little bit about the funnel process of clients finding an agency's ads online, signing up for the DIY model, and then upgrading. How do you think agencies can increase their average revenue per unit when it comes to those do-it-yourself clients?
It's a good question. So obviously, there are all the traditional ways to go after those clients and offer more services. But I think more importantly, now you can do this in context, right? So you capture those customers. They created the first websites. You have that information. They're online. They're running. Now you have an interface to those customers. Now you can identify what their business is, and this is even before the example we talked about with AI. And you can share experiences that you had with similar vertical customers. You created that first engagement point. They are customers that you captured for relatively cheap, and they're already in there. By the way, some of our agencies don't even charge for this initial do-it-yourself simple editor experience, but they use that as, all right, now I have that hook, I have that communication line open, and I can either offer additional services that then will increase the revenue that I get from that SMB, or I can upgrade their sites. I can offer my help. I can go and do it with them or for them. Those are many ideas that the SMB is not necessarily thinking about, and I think it's like a key point, because if you think about the future, or almost where we are now, where many agencies I talk with are coming up with the question: is AI going to replace us? Right? Are people going to build their website just with AI? What is our role in this new world? And the way I think about this, the way Duda is thinking about this, is that the agency role is changing a little bit, and it's changing a little bit from being more like a production house. I'm going to build your website and maybe give you additional services, to a role where I'm going to be your strategic consultant. I have the exposure to so many small businesses. I know what to do to make them successful. And I can do this with additional services that I couldn't provide in the past. I can do that with data sharing and knowledge. I can do that in many, I can talk about this now for a couple of hours, in so many ways that the agency will be the small business champion and really help them to shine and to be much more competitive with similar businesses. So I think it doesn't matter if it comes to AI or if it comes the way it is today, But if you don't have that initial engagement point and that communication line open, you won't be able to have that conversation. And this is a very, easy way to create those communication lines, to have people coming in, and then either to be the strategic consultant or just to upsell and to get more value to those businesses.
Yeah, so being the trusted advisor is really the answer here, and that will never be replaced with a human who understands your business, your vertical, and has solved some of the problems and challenges that you've had before. That's never going to go away. And so I think, Oded, we share similar views when it comes to AI, is we enjoy using it, but we still understand the true value of human intellect, intelligence, and just general know-how, especially when it comes to your client's vertical. So great answer there. Liron, I got a question for you. We talked a little bit about small businesses expecting more from their agencies. And I think that this is also something Bryan can touch on too. They want more content. They want more platforms. They want more leads, more speed, more revenue, more compliance. They want more, more, more. And the reason for that is because the competitive landscape is always just getting stronger and stronger. So how do you feel Duda is best equipped to provide that to agencies?
So it's a good question, and if Oded, if you want to share your aspect as well, so please do. I think that we are talking about those customers again in the editor that Duda have, the advanced editor that Duda have. We try to provide all those tools for you as agencies to get this content more fast. If it's AI, if it's connecting with good customers with content, with site comments, if you need to collect this content faster and use content collections, and a lot of tools that we are trying to provide you, of course, working on performance really hard to give the best results that you can show your customers, and you can provide them what they want. But I think we need to understand that there are some customers that doesn't know yet what they want. The ones that just want a website, they still don't know what they want from you. They want a website and they say, okay, build me something, or I can do it. You don't need to do it by yourself. And this is where we are starting to, we are giving them the opportunity to try it by themselves and to discover what they need from you. And what we see when we allow people to start with a DIY flow and then talk with agencies is that the customers more accurate about what they need. They are not talking with big words or coming with a list of requirements that they heard from someone else, from the neighbor, or from some friend that is professional to whatever. They know exactly what they need from their sites, and they are coming with specific requirements. And then as our solution and the editor, and as I gave some examples, we can provide them all those tools. But it's more easy to do that when a customer understands his needs, and now you have a mutual language. You can speak the same, and he's not just asking for some title. So everything that we already spoke about, the AI and all the tools that Duda is giving, and the performance that we are keep working on, these are all there for you, and we are keep improving them. But I think that it's the point where you are taking this this discussion with your customers from a different point of view, where he understands what he needs, and specific him or his vertical, and not some neighbor that sells ice cream or whatever.
Understood. Yeah, great. And Bryan, how about Google side? What is Google doing to get SMBs to get more from their agencies?
Yeah, absolutely. So Google is trying to automate like a lot of our own product offerings to a lot of our SMB clients. Agency partners can help advocate for themselves and for their clients on leveraging some of these AI-powered campaign offerings and product solutions that we have in place. One of them, of course, is leveraging target ROAS, which is going to help a lot with the budget optimization and ROI optimization for clients. There are agency partners who have end clients that are SMBs, are really leaning in being very fluent with leveraging a lot of this AI product suite that we're offering at Google. Entire campaign types are being consolidated to be AI first. So, for example, we recently launched Performance Max, which is the first AI native campaign type at Google that allows agencies to, instead of having to dedicate, a portion of budget to search or a portion of budget to display and video, et cetera, and then everything that goes along with that campaign management. That's a lot for an SMB to really have to worry and think about. They're not specialized in that. That's why they're leveraging an agency partner. A lot of SMB clients just want results. Can I give you a budget that I've set aside for my small business to you so that you can give me whatever their business goal is? It could be leads, it could be sales, it could be, just website traffic, whatever. These agency partners at Google, along with many advertisers in general, are starting to lean into leveraging campaign types like Performance Max to really automate a lot of this and get to the core of what SMB clients and any client really cares about, which is what's my ROI? What is my marketing doing for my business? How is it growing it? How am I connecting to new customers? How am I driving new bookings? How am I driving new sales on my website? All of that good stuff.
Yeah, so that answer is, go ahead, Oded, were you going to say something?
Yeah, just to follow up on what Bryan and Liron was saying, I think the agency job has become more and more difficult today, right? Because on one hand, you have issues of privacy, compliance. You have to spend more to reach the same number of users or target users that you would reach, 5 years ago. Then there is all the demand that is changing. If 5-6 years ago people just wanted to have a website that, like Liron said, that was easy. Now they want a website that will convert. Now they want a website that will perform well on SEO. Now they want a website that will be up 99.9% of the time, if not 100% of the time. The businesses are much more dependent on their website. Think about restaurants. Most of the bookings today is being done through websites. That wasn't the case before, the reservations. So with all that, the agency job just became more and more difficult. And when SMBs are coming, they want all that, and they're also asking, hey, I want to make sure that I'm not going to be sued for ADA compliance on your website. How do you take care of this? For a typical agency, we don't have those resources, on the agency. Our staff is not a legal expert in compliance and conversion expert and SEO expert. We don't have all that set of people. We know how to build sites. And that's where many of those tools and that's where many of those efficiencies will have to come into play. If as an agency, I won't be thinking about this, I'm going to be left behind very quickly. So how do I understand the new world as SMBs are living in, acquiring them in a much more efficient way, but also provide a service that will be on par with what they expect today? That's why I think agencies' life today are much more difficult than they were, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. As being somebody on the forefront, things are getting more expensive. There's more competition. It doesn't take much to start an agency or to freelance digital marketing services. There's very little barrier to entry. It's a very attractive model. You can do it anywhere in the world. So ultimately, it will just keep getting more difficult to stand out in the sea of agencies that are competing. So can you guys provide me with a couple of top tools and technologies that you guys are seeing working well for automating customer acquisition for an agency? Bryan, maybe we could start with you.
Yeah, for sure. And just to, kind of related to what Oded mentioned, on the Google side, we've made a lot of advancements on GA4, which is our next iteration of Google Analytics. I think a lot of agency partners would benefit greatly from leveraging that tool and understanding the users that are landing on their own agency's website. GA4 is built with privacy first. So everything and anything in relation to leveraging the latest in privacy developments on Google can be found there. But I think that would be a key solution to helping agencies understand who their clients already are and use the insights available in GA4 to then inform their outreach for new customers. So that's on the platform analytics side on Google, and then of course on the Google marketing side, using the data and insights gathered from something like Google Analytics or one of the other many great providers out in the market, using that data and insights to inform your marketing campaigns. Google ad campaigns on search at least can leverage something like new customer acquisition to leverage that first party data at scale, and have it informed all of your marketing efforts on search in real time. And so, these two things are meant to work together, but it's, again, I'll anchor and sound like a broken record that your new customer acquisition efforts are going to make or break depending on what your first party data quality is going to be, because otherwise our AI models and any AI model that is fully functional is only as good as the inputs to it. And so I think agencies would greatly benefit from taking that approach.
Oh, Bryan, just a quick question for you. Is there an effective way to build that first party list affordably?
Yeah, as I mentioned, there's so many data rich signals. On the Google Ads side, we have a solution called Customer Match. Customer Match it allows for imports of audience lists, like from Google Analytics, but also many other file formats. And they're really just anchored on, you don't need to provide like a ton of signals for each individual user. You can provide something key like a number or an email, for example, and just zero in on your files for that for scale, and that's sufficient for our platform to take that in. Of course, any files you provide to us have to reach very rigorous privacy thresholds, after which only once those privacy thresholds are cleared can they actually be used. So we take a lot of that data firsthand, informed by privacy, to really action on it. So a lot of platforms, including Google Analytics, come with these customer lists or these audience lists that get auto-generated. Those are key features, from my understanding, from a lot of platforms. So it'll be very much plug and play, at least on the Google Ads side.
Awesome. Yeah, great answer. And we use that feature pretty frequently every time we work on an ad account. The first step in the onboarding is gathering that customer database and organizing it in a way that can be sent to Google to basically show more effective ads.
It's so crucial to really make the most out of the budgets that your clients are providing to you as their trusted advisor, and really getting that ROI for the marketing that they're doing.
Bryan, is there a budget that you would recommend that agencies start with to start acquiring customers through advertising?
No, not really. This is not budget specific. It's more about layering on these efforts to existing marketing. I mean, you can certainly have dedicated campaigns. There's no minimum thresholds for these kinds of things. It's more about the strategy that's driving it and what the business goals really are. So don't feel like, oh, I have to spend X amount to drive new customer acquisition. That's not at all how we think of it at Google.
And when would be the right time for someone to use that new Performance Max feature?
That the right time would really be when they have a solid creative strategy. So as long as they have, they know the message they want to get across on SEM, and they know the message they want to get across on display, and they have, compelling creative on the video side, Performance Max takes all of these inputs and has it be executed across Google's ecosystem to drive performance regardless of channel. So once a client really understands that and also understands what their ROI goal is, because the campaign will optimize to whatever KPI we give it, whether it's a target ROAS goal or a cost per lead goal, once those are super ironed out, that is the right moment to really execute on it. you'll find, at least definitely on the agency side, it's going to cut down on a lot of the optimization work that usually goes in with more legacy types of campaigns. Performance Max is constantly optimizing towards the goal that your client is going to give you. So, I would say those are some pretty fundamental conditions, before jumping in on that.
Interesting. And Oded, on your side, now that we're getting people to our website for our agencies that are probably interested with a Performance Max campaign or something like that, what are some things that people can do on the website side to generate more interest, to get those people to turn into an actual conversation or appointment?
Yeah, I think it's a very wide spectrum of things, and Bryan touched some of it. Is the experiences that you give the customer when they come in. It's the first time visitor, the second time visitor, even the time of the day matters, and it really depends what is the business that you are trying to support. I think every business will be slightly different, and the conversion points will be slightly different. A legal, let's say, a legal office will have different needs and different requirements than the hair salon or someone else. So I think it has to be very personalized. But I would use those tools to learn my customer's journey on the website. What is it that they do? What is interesting? Where do I see the clicks? And then try to offer the right experiences to the right customers based on the verticals, based on the location, and so on. I think that can do magically when you try to convert visitors to paying customers for an SMB. But the spectrum is very wide. There's lots of ideas, and it depends who you serve, who are your customers. Are they local? Are they national? Are they international? Multi-languages is something that can really help you with conversion in different regions. There's a very, very wide set of tools. But I think that all at the end of the day is coming to, we want as consumers, we want the personalized experience. We need to understand quickly what is it that we're facing, and we need something that will drive us to take action. And there are different ways to achieve that.
Love it. Love it. Okay, cool. And then in terms of one last question here before we get on to the next session, are there any potential pitfalls or challenges to be aware of when automating customer acquisition? Oded, I guess this is probably more of a question on your side, because if somebody's going from a DIY flow to a to a done for you model, what are some potential pitfalls or challenges that we should be aware of when doing something like that?
I think there's maybe a couple of dimensions to that. One is you really want to drive them to talk to you. You want to get them into I'll do it for you, right? And you want to have a good starting point. How do you create that starting point? If I create automation and that automation is not relevant or not personalized, again, go to the previous example. You're a pet store, you build your own site, or you are creating automation with PPC campaign, and you get content that is not relevant to you. You're gonna think this is a piece of garbage. I'm not interested. I'm not gonna move forward with this agency because they just sent me something that is completely automated and it's not what I'm looking for. So you really need to be very careful about how do you deploy that automation, so you're not gonna destroy the user base that already you worked really hard to bring into your website, and now that automation just scare them away. I think that's one area that you want to be aware of when you implement automation. That would be where I would start, to make it as much personalized as much precise as I can to that particular user that is coming to.
Awesome. I love it. Great answer. Always test out your automations. AI and automations are amazing, but sometimes if you don't check on them too much, they might say something wrong. So just make sure you check it out. Oded, Bryan, Liron, thank you so much for joining us today.